Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Microsoft Flight Simulator, and today's an awesome day indeed. JustFlight released their Piper Arrow turbos. So we have Piper Arrow 3 turbo and the Piper Arrow 4 turbo, which is what we're going to be trying out today. Piper Arrow 4 is slightly different as it has the tall T-tail design. So we're going to see what the flight model's like, if there's any really massive changes that we can notice in the simulator. I want to express I'm not a real pilot, on my way to become one, but however I've never flown a Piper Arrow in real life. So we're just going to be sort of checking it out from a new time simmer's perspective and see what the aircraft has to offer. It does have a higher cruising speed, about 40 knots faster, give or take. So we're going to be taking off here from just outside of Minneapolis, do a quick fly around the area, do some sightseeing, and then bring the aircraft back home. Maybe we'll find a small airport that has a restaurant in it and go get some breakfast burritos, because you guys know, if you've watched many of my videos, I love breakfast burritos. So let's go ahead and see what the flight has to offer today. Alright, so jumping right into the video here, the exterior textures are right up to par with the Piper Arrow 3 and the previous versions of JustFlight's aircraft. They're absolutely fantastic, no quarrels or qualms with any of it. I think it's an absolutely beautifully modeled aircraft, everything from the tires to the externals, cables, tie downs, etc. I mean, look at right down to the hook down to the ground. They've really done a fantastic job, so I'm not going to worry too much about the externals today. Let's go ahead and jump into the aircraft and see about getting this thing started up. Now, jumping into the seat, once again, you can see the textures, again, on par with any of the other versions of JustFlight's aircraft. I really love the work they do. The weathering is always very nice, although this one looks much more clean than the other versions, but still, I mean, plenty of detail. It just means it was well maintained. Again, no issues there whatsoever. So let's take a peek at getting this aircraft started. Now, I do have the PMS5 GTN 750 installed. We're going to be giving that a shot today with the Piper Arrow 4, see if there's any concerns there. If there does turn out to be any issues, we'll obviously be talking about those, and we'll just move on with the video. But know that if there's any issues with the navigation system, that's probably going to be with the add-on, not necessarily the aircraft. So let's get right after things. So first thing we need to do is secure everything on the outside of the aircraft. All right. And let's get rid of the pad here. I think we can save some FPS by turning that off and then disabling it. Now, one of the things that I like the most about the JustFlight aircraft is they do a very good job of integrating the checklist. So we're going to walk through the in-game checklist for anyone who's a first-time user of the aircraft, and we'll be able to see what it's like. And that's the perspective I always try to display when I do my reviews, is what it's like as someone who has never flown the aircraft before and you're just interested in, purchasing it, but maybe you're a little bit on the fence because you don't know the aircraft. So let's just start with the pre-flight interior here. So, parking brake. Let's go down and find our parking brake here. Parking brake is set. That's this guy right here. Gear selector handle is down. Check. Avionics are off. Avionics switches. I haven't flown this aircraft in a minute, so that is, let's see, that's autopilot. Looks like all of our, there's the battery, the alternator, and that one looks like the avionics switch. Oh, no. I think that's a turbo. Oh, it's fuel pump, I think. Let's see here. Landing lights, collision lights, pitot heat. Should be... Oh, hang on. I've got some stuff on here. That's the parking brake. Interestingly enough, pitot heat should be off, but it's telling me it's on. One of my controls is mapped to it. I just don't know which one. All of mine are off currently. And again, like I said, that's the parking brake, so that can't be it. There we go. That's that. But it definitely thinks the pitot heat is mapped somewhere. Oh, that was just the parking brake again. I'm not sure what it thinks it's mapped to. Well, we'll address that later. Worst case scenario, it's just the pitot heat, so I'm not worried about that for today. Don't want to take up too much time in the video for that. All right, mixture is currently laned. Magnetos are off. Magnetos are going to be down here. Battery switch on. So let's turn our battery switch on. That actually doesn't seem to be mapped. All right, so there it is. Now it is. So battery is on. Fuel quantity check. It's manifold pressure, and there's our fuel. That's fuel flow. Gosh, you really been this long since I've been in this plane? Let's make that a little smaller. There we go. There's my fuel tanks. There we are. All right, so about 20 gallons in each tank. That's plenty for what we're going to do. Fuel quantity check, annunciator panel check. Okay. And let's keep on moving down here. Battery switch now back off. Flight controls. So let's go to the outside. We're going to hit C on our keyboard. That way we have actual control of everything. And I'm going to move our camera around. Oops. There we go. And let's do this. Get it back down. Now go C. All right. So checking elevators. Checking ailerons. And let's get on that tail rotor. Tail rotor looks good. All right. Flaps. Where's my flap handle? You hiding back there? Oh, jeez. No, big giant pole right in the middle of the damn thing. Good, Mike. Anyway. All right, so flaps are down, or up, excuse me. Flight control screen clear, flap clear. Elevator trim is neutral. Elevator trim neutral. Baggage doors are closed. Pre-flight exterior control surfaces checked. Lights are checked. Tie downs have been removed. Chocks are removed. Tow bars removed. Engine oil door is closed. Oil quantity was checked and filled. Cabin door closed and latched. Let's double check that. So we got the lock down there, and we have the lock secure up at the top. All right, let's move on forward. Circuit breakers are all pushed in. Alternate air is off, closed. Prop RPM lever to max and fuel selection to the fullest tank. All right, so prop RPM up to the max. And fuel selection. Let's see what this actually says. Get a better. So we just have the right and left tank. Okay, so we'll go with the left tank. And let's see here. Oh, that's right. I won't be able to use that. Haven't created any of my custom views yet. So that's something we're going to have to work on at some point. All right, and let's go to engine start. It's going to be a cold engine start, throttle half travel. All right. There's throttle to about half travel, give or take. Battery on. Alternator on, beacon on. No, it's landing light. I don't see the beacon. So I'm going to assume they mean anti-collision lights. Actually, yes, that would have to be. Navigation lights. Now that I also do not see. We have landing light, anti-collision light. Make sure I'm not missing any light switches anywhere. I don't think I am. There's our dome light. I don't see any other lights that I could be missing. I think we're good. We're just going to keep on moving. Fuel pump, low or use primer. Okay. So fuel pump to low. Rich until fuel flow, or mixture, rich until fuel flow peaks. Oh, I see. There we go. So you're watching the needles here. There, it's peaked. Let's get that back into cutoff. I'm not sure what that's going to do for us here. Propeller clear. Ignition start. Mixture rich when engine starts. Start successful. All right, so I'm going to pull this off screen for a minute. Let's take a peek around. Shut out the window. Clear prop. And let's go ahead and... Why are my magnetos not mapped? I mapped all this stuff. What happened here? All right. There's the engine started. Oh, maybe not. I had this problem last time. Yeah, see? I can't ever start it and cut off. Sounds good. Throttle adjust to 1500 RPMs. Oh, I clicked out of screen technically. There we go. And we're going to check our oil pressure. Manifold pressure, oil temp, oil pressure. Right on the money. Actually looks like a little high. Maybe that's normal. Oil temperature's on the rise. Alright. Go ahead and close the checklist for now. Take a look at our map here. Go to our transponder. We're going to be using 1200 for VFR. Oops. Go back to it. Turn it on. Do altitude reporting here. So I really like, this is one of the features that I really like about the GTN 750. Is being able to just put your mouse on the screen and drag it around. It really makes it easy, and I don't know how realistic that is for some of the touch screens. I don't know how many of them use the knobs and whatnot. I mean, I'm sure this navigation system probably isn't even in the real aircraft. I don't know. That's me talking out my rear end there, because I don't have any real world experience with it, but it's a pretty advanced system. Maybe it's something that can be put in aftermarket, I'm not sure. But it's just nice being able to use the mouse, and I'm just trying to get an idea of what's out here. Maybe anywhere we might want to go. And you can just hit back to get back into it. But we'll just leave that up like that. We'll take a peek as we get airborne. I think that's actually... Oh, there we go. So that's what happened. So each of the rings looks like airspace rings. Oh yeah, here's another one. Maybe we'll go check out this KRNH. I have no idea what that airport is. Let's click on it. Can we click on it? We can click on it. Look at that. Waypoint info. Look at that. Ah, Richmond, Wisconsin. Not bad, man. We could view the charts if we wanted. I really do like this GTN system. It's really nice. The 750 is good. We could do it direct to it if we wanted to. But for now, let's go ahead and just keep on doing what we're here to do here. Let's get the rest of the systems turned on. Come on. Oh, there it is. I always lose it in this little mesh here of damage. Alright, looks like we got everything. I don't think I missed anything. Alright, so our next step will be to taxi out a little bit. And then we'll see how everything goes. What do we got here on the light system? Auxiliary fuel on. Oh, you know what? Should probably turn the fuel pump off, huh? Let me see. Let's check out the documentation. I think the fuel pump stays on a bit longer, if memory serves. Taxi, ground check. Let's do before. What else here? Did we miss a step? Make sure we didn't miss anything. I hate it when it does this. Come on. Reset the damn page. Nope. Microsoft. Well, now we can't see that, I guess. That's great. I think the fuel pump stays on until after takeoff, if memory serves. Yep, auxiliary boost pump. Right before takeoff. Okay. Alright. Fair enough. So we'll go do our run-up. We'll taxi out to our spot. We'll do our run-up and then see where we go from there. Now let's... actually, this is a pretty short... We got the taxiway over here. I don't know if we would just do the run-up over here at an airport this small. But let's go see if there's a run-up area. What's the worst that can happen, right? Alright, let's pull some power off here. Alright, she immediately starts taxing. Turn radius of the nose wheel. No bueno. But that she also doesn't have a whole lot of authority on the tail if that's what's using. So I just gotta use some differential braking. The only thing that makes differential braking a pain in the butt in this simulator, I would say, is just that I have tried messing around, and maybe people have had better luck than me, but I've tried messing around with the she does okay when she's moving. I've tried messing around with the brake sensitivity, and it just, no matter what I do, I always end up in a bad spot with it. I love that sound though. Listen to that sound. Dum 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 dum. I like that noise. Fun to taxi. Like I said, once you get it moving, it works just fine. And the sounds just make it a blast. I will also say, I haven't gotten obviously a chance to try it. This is my first flight in it, guys. I haven't literally purchased it, downloaded it, started the video. So you guys are seeing everything just as I am. So we're gonna cross the runway. I guess we'll do our run up afterwards. Taking off from the center over there. So we're going to be crossing this runway. But anyway, historically speaking, I've had great success with VR in the JustFlight aircraft. So that's any concern to anyone. I don't know that I would be too worried about it. I would expect similar performance as the other aircraft. Again, performance has obviously changed, but I don't think much else has with it. Yeah, see, that was my fault. Should have looked for a run-up area, but luckily no one else is out here, so we can still run up the procedures. So on second thought, I actually thought we'll probably skip the run-up for today. That's probably not what you guys are interested in seeing for this particular video. So let's go through everything else here. I'm going to set that parking brake here. And let's check our next part of the checklist. We'll go right to takeoff. Battery switch on, strobe light on. See, it's got these other lights, but they don't exist here. But we will need the landing light on. That's lights panel, nav radio lights. Alright, so anyway, make sure to full rich, prop to full, flaps. I believe we want flaps 1 if memory serves. That's what we're going to use today. Again, not a professional with this aircraft, just giving you a review from a first time experience. Cabin doors are closed and latched. Let's go ahead and check takeoff. Throttle set for takeoff. Rudder maintain axis. Airspeed indicator check working. Rotation at 70 knots indicated. Climb looking at 79 knots indicated. Landing gear up. And let's see here. Flaps up above 300 feet. Accelerate to 97 knots indicated for best rate. Alright, let's see what we get. Alright kids, let's rock and roll. Whoa, come on. Lot of left rudder needed. Lot of left rudder. There's 70 knots. Rotating. Come on baby, pick up. Positive rate indicated, gear up. Climbing for 79 knots. Passing 300 feet, flaps up. Oof. Let's trim some nose up. Now we're looking for 97 knots climb rate. So basically about 100 knots. Whew. So, okay, definitely wasn't expecting. You need a lot of left rudder. A lot of left rudder running on that. You know, I actually should have swapped these fuel tanks beforehand, so. Actually, it looks like it's doing it for me. I didn't think I had that turned on, but maybe I do. Alright, what are you complaining about? Over best rate? Is that what that is? What is this? What is that? Oh, it's a smudge on the window. Thought there was something out there. I'm like, oh, that was kind of cool. Alright, I'm not sure what this is. It's making me kind of nervous, not gonna lie. Ah, had my throttle too high. That's what I'm guessing. Let's see here, let's push that forward. Yeah. There we go. No, that makes sense. I'm an idiot. Alright, let's come out of the climb here. Sort of start stabilizing here. Not gonna go too high, we'll just take a nice little cruise. Should be looking for about 173 knots of cruising speed. Gosh, man, she does not want to come out of this climb. Oh, see, I can't decide. It looks like the trim wheel isn't really working, but I think it is. I'm using my Bravo throttle quadrant today, so everything's a little weird now. Trying to get her stable. She's a fighter, especially for someone who's inexperienced with it. She'll play with your mind. See if we can get out of this climb. We got it. Gosh, it still wants to climb. Come on, man. Getting better. Trying to get her trimmed, man, and it does not want to do it. I really wish the trim wheel on the Bravo could be set up as an axis. I think part of its issue is the way it's a repeating button. I can't imagine that that's more efficient than an axis would be. Sit back here a bit. So right off the bat, she's fun to fly. She's challenging. And I do believe that there's a pretty significant difference between the two aircraft. Maybe max speed was 173 knots. I don't think cruising speed is 173 knots. I think I read that wrong. I think the max speed is. But there we are, finally at a decent level flight. Oh, climbing again. Man, she wants to climb. Slightest adjustment. Then again, she's also starting to accelerate as we level out, so that makes sense too. The beautiful area of Minneapolis. Let's try some turns. If I can get my microphone out of the way of the yoke. There we go. Uh-oh. I think my head tracker just died. No, it didn't. But the game stopped recognizing it. That's even worse. Microsoft, you kill me. Alright, let me try stopping it and restarting it. Maybe that'll bring it back. There it goes. It does that to me every now and then. I'm not sure why. It's rare, but it does. So airspeed looking pretty good. 130 knots, 135 knots cruise. Not too shabby. Let's see what we can do on the mixture. I'm going to pull the mixture back till we start losing some RPM. Oh, there we go. That was it right there. So we'll leave it about there. then we'll see if we can pull any prop back. There you go. Sort of cruising. Looking for about 120 knots. Not too bad. Let's get that nose trimmed back up again. So definitely challenging. You're busy in this airplane. You're busy in this airplane. That's for sure. There is no set it and forget it kind of thing. At least from a beginner standpoint. I'm sure someone who, you know, has a better relationship with this old lady here, that you probably have a better time with it. But I think it's a great. I'll say that it's the same thing I'm going to say about the Piper Arrow 3 when it came out. Probably, if you're someone who's studying for real-world pilots training, whoa, new scenery loading. This is probably the best aircraft in Microsoft Flight Simulator to do so with. It is the most responsive. It's, again, the most busy of the aircraft. So, I mean, I think that's going to play a huge part into this. What's with the stuttering, man? So, well, you guys really need to figure this junk out. The only thing about all the stuttering and thing that gets so old for me is it's been around for so long. Like, that's the one thing I can't help. You know, I try to stay positive. I try to give Asobo credit and recognize it's a new simulator. But they're coming up with all these new world maps and all these new features and the new terrain textures and blah, blah, blah. And everything's going to look so beautiful. Yeah, that's great. It's going to look so beautiful as you see it at 6 frames per second every 20, 30 seconds every time it's loading a new area. Oh, it's kind of cool seeing that airplane down there. Got 2 of them down there. I do have real world traffic turned on, and I'm sure that's probably part of it. So some of the bigger network killers for this sim since it's released was always you know, real world traffic, live air traffic, and live weather. I have both of them turned on right now. You know, but it's one of those things that, like, all right, guys, like, I appreciate all the hard work they're putting in. I'm not trying to discredit that. You know, the time and effort they've had to put into the new world scenery and all the texturing and the weather modeling and all this stuff is great. Just fix the performance first. Like, the stutterings, all the users, end users, all the tricks and tips and things that we're having to do to get the simulator to run smooth consistently, it's too much now. It's been too long. For the simple stuff. It's like the stuttering and things like that, you know, I do not have a low-end machine. You know, my specs are down in the description below. I think the only thing that I would call outdated, quote-unquote, really is, you know, the graphics card, and it's a 2080 Ti. It's not that outdated. You know, and it's only because you can't get a hold of a new one. But anyway, I digress on that. But thanks, Bitcoin miners. Anyway, where was I going with that? Oh, so, which means that all the stuttering and BS that we're all experiencing trying to fly the simulator, you know, it's the network. It's the way that the game is optimized, or lack there of optimization. And my thing is, if you put new features and new scenery and new textures and you boast about them into a simulator that isn't optimized, well, then unfortunately, at that point, you know, you're taking away from all that hard work. You're taking away from the time you spent making that scenery and these cool new features and things like that. Because every 20 or 30 seconds when a new area loads, what happens? You know, you get knocked out of that immersion because you have exactly what I just experienced. You're just trying to look around, enjoy the scenery, and you can't do so without it skipping and framing every 20 seconds. And it's just, I don't know, it gets annoying. All right, rant over. So we've had a nice little cruise here. I think what we'll do at this point is take the aircraft back in for a landing. There's our airfield right there. So I'm going to go ahead and turn us off course here and start a little descent, and we'll take a look at landing this beauty. Alright, so let's see what it's going to take to do so here. Did our climb, did cruise climb. 2450 RPM. Well, we had that on. Well, we had it there for a minute until I got to the cruise. Manifold pressure to 33 inches. I'm a little high on the manifold pressure, so that part's my fault. I should be all the way down to 33 when we were at the cruise. So I was running a little high. Airspeed accelerate to 104 knots. Seems like a slow cruise. Oh, throttle. Here's cruise. Okay, that was cruise climb. Max of 75%. Mixture, lean for altitude. Elevator trim set. Auxiliary pump low if required. Fuel tank selection. Okay, descent. Power mixture as desired. Lean for altitude. Elevator trim set. Okay. Approach, landing light on. Select the fuelless tank. Oh, hey. Should probably turn that. Lever max RPM. Parking brake release. Parking brake release? Okay. I didn't set the parking brake on the way up. Were we supposed to? I've never heard of that. I know you're supposed to tap the brakes when you first bring them up to stop them from rotating. And then let's check out landing. Trim for 75 knots is what we're looking at. Alright. Well, let's start that descent. Trim that nose up, man. That nose wants to fall out of the sky the second you pull that power off. So I'm not noticing any huge difference between the T-tail and the conventional, I guess what you'd call. I have no idea what the different terms are for the tail configurations. I know you've got T-tail, V-tail, but I don't know what your standard would be. So I'm just going to refer to it as conventional design, right? Hopefully that's right. Honestly, never bothered to look that up. But I don't notice any major difference between the two. And I say major, meaning that, I mean, the takeoff seemed a bit weird. I don't know if that was part of what was causing that dramatic need of left rudder, or if that was just engine torque, which absolutely could be. But anyway, just things to think about here. Alright, we have gear speeds here. Gear down, 133 knots max. We're way below that. Let's go ahead and pull that puppy down. Full mixture, full RPM. Going flaps 1 here. Trimming that nose back down a little bit. Pulling some power off. The flight model against the weather seems to be fantastic. The bouncing and jolts that I'm getting. Figuring out the throttle is going to take some practice. I think I'm on and off the throttle way more than I should be for the descent. But again, I think that's something that's going to come with time, right? It's such a pretty area. I actually got to fly out here a couple years back for a company I used to work for. I got to go to Minneapolis. I loved it out there. I loved it. Gorgeous area, just flying in. We came in on an A320, I think. And man, I once we got below the canopy, man, I couldn't stop looking around. And you know what's weird though is the desert has a funny way of messing with you though, because anyone who lives in the desert, they'll probably tell you the same thing. Oh gosh, I can't wait to move to a place with green. I want a place with green. I want somewhere with 4 seasons. Blah 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 blah. Right? But when you leave it, and you leave it for even sometimes just a few days, when you come back, you're reminded of that beauty that it has. Let's go with flaps 2. Start pulling some power off slowly. Rudder pedals moved on me. Good thing that doesn't happen on the rail plane, right? And this stupid tracker did it again. I don't know why it's doing that. I don't think the batteries are dying. I mean, looking at the tracker, it's got a strong signal. Alright, so it said to trim for 70 knots. Going full flaps here. Trim. Looks like we got a nice crosswind here. Actually, looks like I'm landing with a tailwind. I'm coming in from the wrong direction. That was a mistake on my part. It's alright. We'll see how it goes. Shouldn't be too bad. Be a challenge, right? You guys can see what the aircraft's impact is. By the way, I have nothing on the rudder pedals. This is literally what the crosswind is doing to the plane. This is kind of fun. Not gonna lie. Yeah, you want crosswind training. This is your plane to do it in. It's like the wind just died. What happened? Oh, we're high. We're high, guys. We're high. Come back to me, lady. Come back to me, my lady. Oh, gosh, I don't have a lot of runway to work with here. We might be doing a touch and go. Let's see if I can still save this. Oh, I should have done touch and go. Hold it, hold it. It really needs a lot of that left rudder. I mean, I have a ton of left rudder input coming down. Okay. Whew. Okay. So now let's talk about a few things. First, let me set the parking brake. Okay, so let's talk about the obvious. The obvious is here that I landed, oh, hello, in the wrong direction. This is my wind direction needle. Well, no, that's my north needle. Never mind, I thought that was my wind direction. I still think I had a crosswind coming in from the tailwind. I thought that was my wind needle. That's what I get for not looking. It's only my second time ever using that panel, so don't judge me. Anyways. So I still think that I came in from the wrong direction, but all in all, that felt like a pretty good approach. It was tough. It was challenging. Definitely with wind, this aircraft is a fighter. That was a really, really enjoyable landing. I think, once again, they've nailed it with the flight model. The flight model, so my flight experience, to give you guys a comparison, is a Cessna 172 and a 182. That's the most that I've been in thus far. And I can tell you that from my limited, very limited experience, this was an incredibly fun flight, just like the previous JustFlight Aero. If you are on the fence at all about buying this aircraft, I highly recommend get off the fence. It's absolutely just a ton of fun. All the instrumentation and the different instrumentation options and the visual options and the flight model, you combine all those together and you have a quite truly amazing package. And again, for anyone who already owns the Piper Arrow 3 from JustFlight, there is a discount. You should have gotten an email about it. Whatever email account you used to purchase the aircraft, you should have received an email letting you know what the discount details are. For the Piper Arrow 3 Turbo and the Piper Arrow 4 Turbo, I paid, I think, just over $15 for them both. And really happy that I did. So once again, JustFlight, fantastic work, guys. Keep up the great work, and I'll be watching for your next one. Until next time, guys, enjoy your flights, and I'll see you soon.